And it wasn't just any mine, it was my mine, where I was working, my band camp. So she should have been a shoo-in, right? You'll have to wait till the end to find out if she got the job.
What does safety mean to you? I was just like, ah! And then the next question was, name something you've done and how you fixed it. I said, I was helping my dad service the car.
Which is good because that shows mechanical.
And because I said, because I've grown up in garages my whole life, my dad thought that I should have knew better. But I was a kid. And I said, and I didn't put the air filter on right. I put the clips down but not the bolt in. And they said, and how to fix it? I said, well, Dad said, figure it out. This is Mum's fault, this one. She should have bloody told me. Because they threw me off with some questions. Like,
which ones threw you off? What parts of it threw you off? Welcome to the Beers with a Miner podcast. My name is Mad Mumzie and I've been driving the huge dump trucks in Australian open cut mines for over 10 years now. I wish I had $1 for everyone who said to me, how does a little thing like you drive those big trucks? You must be rich. How do I get a job doing that? My mining friends are asked these questions all the time too. This is what started the Mad Mumzie journey to share stories and tips from living a mining lifestyle and to let others know what it's really like. Tune in each episode as I sit down for a relaxed chat, usually over a few beers, with a fellow miner. Women and blokes with various experience, roles and opinions share their lessons and stories with you. Not everyone is cut out to be a miner, but why not? What does it take to thrive and survive in this industry? Now, let's dig in. Get it? Dig? Mining? Crack me up. Hello and welcome to episode 96 of Beers with a Miner podcast. I am Mad Mumzie and I have been helping people know more about mining life in Australia since 2016, when I started Australia's first mining podcast. Now, this episode is a little different. It is another one from my archives, which means, old audio that I recorded that I've never got around to release. The sound quality is not as perfect as I would like, but I feel like the message shared is gold and it needs to come out. This was with my daughter, my mum and myself sitting around the kitchen table at the castle. I recorded this episode after my daughter had just completed a phone interview for a job in the mines. And it wasn't just any mine, it was my mine, where I was working, my band camp. So she should have been a shoo-in, right? You'll have to wait till the end to find out if she got the job. However, her nerves, her questions, her ad-libbing on the spot and tips for you about what to prepare for, what to watch out for, before a phone interview, which are very common these days. They were a bit newer then. So I had to get it out. And where she mentions in here about my first book or my second book, like me being the mum, I ended up not releasing it as a book. I guess I kind of did as an audio book, ebook. However, it is now my free Pounce course on mining.teachable.com, which is all about helping you to know where to start to look for a job in the mines and what you might need to do and some things to think about. So when she mentioned the actual mine and the town that it was in, I silenced that. So you'll notice that, like, oh, that's that band camp. And I also removed the name of the people doing the interview because we knew them. The biggest thing I want you to know, especially for my newbies, is these are a great example of some of the questions that might get thrown at you during an interview and how you can prepare in your mind Or, as my daughter gives you more tips, write some of this shit down, right? Also, my mum was there, as I said earlier, so she's I was going to say button in, but joining in the conversation. So it's a bit of a three-way at times, but I still think it's gold because it will share a lot of insight and knowledge for you. And it's also a bit funny. And you'll have to listen to find out what is the one thing that I didn't tell her about. The one thing. And I got in trouble for it. She said, well, that wasn't in your bloody book. So make sure you know what it is because it might get thrown at you. All right, that's enough from me. Let's dig in. Show notes, madmumzie.com/beers96, or right there in the app where you're listening. Click on that for any links and stuff that are shared in this episode. And this episode is proudly brought to you by mining.teachable.com and Bantax Accounting Group. All right, shut up, Mad Mumzie. Let's dig in. Get it? Dig. Mining. Yep, you know it. You know it, right? I crack me up.
First they asked, tell me about yourself and stuff. I said, 28. I like riding my quad and my motorbike, gardening with my mama, boot camp, netball, spending time with family. And then they asked, we're going to call already.
That's all right, as we talk, because I know some of it now.
So then they asked, can you tell us what you know about coal? I was like, I didn't even expect that question. I said, they're a coal mine. They got trucks and drag lines and diggers and stuff.
And didn't you say?
Yeah.
Didn't you say I think they look pretty cool?
Yeah, I said drag lines. I think they look pretty cool. And I said,
and did you say they laughed?
Yeah, and they laughed. And I said, you live in a camp that's off-site and you catch the bus to work and there's lots of people on each crew, males and females, and then I said, yeah, that's about it. I said, and I think they used to have underground. I said, I'm pretty sure they don't have underground. And then the next question was, what does safety mean to you? I was just like, they said, so what safety means to you? And I said, it means being safe, following procedures and, not preventing others from getting hurt. Just being safe in general, common sense really, I think is what I said, something like that, I think I said.
But that's good.
And then the next question was, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, you never told me that one.
No, I forgot about that one. I said, I see myself buying a house and a car, and I didn't say anything about having a family or anything because I thought everyone would hire me there.
But they're not allowed to not hire you because of that?
But so I just left that part out. And next question was, name something you've done in a job that prevented the safety hazard sort of thing. And I said, my boss at work, this is true. She was some of it was a little bit
ad lib. You're allowed to ad lib.
My boss was on a chair putting up the drag the Joker sign, and I said, go get a ladder, you're gonna hurt yourself. And she said no, pretty much. And then they said, and how did you take that? I said, not very well. Then the next question was, what is PPE? This is Mum's fault, this one. She should have bloody told me. Do you know what PPE is?
Well, if you read the second book, you'd know that.
Well, there is no second book yet. Do you know what PPE is? If you do, name 3 things. And
I didn't think they'd ask that.
I said, I don't know what it is. And then they said, personal protective equipment. And I said, that we would use out on site. And I said, hard hat, safety boots, safety glasses and gloves. Which they only said to name 3, but I just did 4. And then,
Because not everyone knows what PPE is.
yeah, and then they asked,
Not at all.
name a situation where you weren't happy with yourself but could have, and how you changed it in a workplace. And I said, when I worked in the recording studio, lots of bands come in and they all wanted the same room, and I said they were all angry and mad, and I just took a deep breath, said I could only deal with one problem at a time, and they said how'd they take that? I said, oh, they understood in the end, because I couldn't deal with them all at once yelling at me over one rehearsal room. There's 4 there. Take one each. And then the next question was, name something you've done and you could have, and how you fixed it. And I was like, I said, I was helping my dad service the car.
Which is good because that shows mechanical.
And because I said, because I've grown up in garages my whole life, my dad thought that I should have knew better. But I was a kid. And I said, and I didn't put the air filter on right. I put the clips down but not the bolt in. And they said, and how did you fix it? I said, well, Dad said, figure it out. Fix it yourself. And I said, I found the bolt that wasn't there and I put it in, and they said, oh, so what happened then? I said, well, it was fixed. Didn't fall off. And then
I bet they were having a little chuckle.
And it was shit reception.
Yeah, I could barely even hear them.
They've got, since the cyclone, they said they've had really bad reception out at work.
Oh, that was terrible. At the start I said, he's going to have to go in another room or something that's just echoey and shit, and then they moved. And they said, hey, how's that? I said, no, when he talked, I could hear him.
And then the next processes will go.
Oh, yeah. That's my notes comes into there. They said, do you have any questions for us? And I said, I've got a list.
Did you say that?
No. I said, yeah, I do. I said, is it for as a contractor? They said, I was like,
with the shirt.
Yeah,
She'll have a shirt.
And holidays and sick leave.
the process for the next steps, the interview, they said, oh, if you get on the short list, we'll check your references and then we'll shortlist people. And then once we've done the shortlist, they'll do a medical and stuff like that. And I said time frame for the start date. And they said it's sort of about a 3-week process. They said 2, but hopefully 2, but 3. I said, can I go on my mum or Uncle Barry's crew? And he said, yes, I've got a heart.
And you said because
I said because of transport, and I said it's BLC crew, and he said, yeah, that's fine, and that will pretty much work for us.
He said, yes, I've got a heart. And I said to Zoe, some may beg to differ, because I know others that are a separate crews.
There's somewhere.
We're a couple. Can we go together? No.
Yeah, and that's about it. What was that about?
So, any advice for other people who have to do a phone interview? Now for a word from our sponsor, Julia Hartman and the Bantax Accounting Group. If you head to bantax.com.au/miners, that's BANTACS, you can download a free booklet all just for us miners. And there's also a spreadsheet in there that helps you check off what tools you have for your trade, like your isolation lock, work boots, 7 shirts, all of these sorts of things, and you can weigh them up and it'll tell you if you qualify weight-wise to claim your trips out to work. I strongly urge you to head to bantax.com.au/miners and tell them Mad Mumzie sent you.
Have your notes ready. Figure out what a PPE is. Mum. No. And make sure you got your current resume there, because they ask about your job history.
What did they ask you that? You didn't tell us about that.
Oh, yeah, they asked about if I have a current job, yes, where it is, and your job history. And I said, just look through my resume. So make sure you got your...
Yeah, I said.
So make sure you got your resume on hand and your questions, and take notes out of Mum's book.
And the bits that Mum didn't put in there.
Oh,
nice.
I reckon you'll get in.
Oh, and they asked if you have any holidays planned, and I said no. And if you get a start date, how long till you start? And I said straight away.
Yeah.
And I was like shitting myself. I was like shaking and shit the whole time. I was like sending back over a cigarette because they threw me off with some questions. Like,
Which ones threw you off? What parts of it threw you off?
like what could have you done to prevent something or whatever? Like name something in a job that you've done where you weren't happy with yourself. Like that one threw me right off.
Yeah.
I was like off the top of my head thought of the recording studio thing.
And that was good. And it shows that you can think on top of your head.
Yeah.
A lot of people have to think about that.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
Where you weren't happy with yourself because you're all about how great I am, not when I'm...
Yeah, not when I wasn't happy.
Yeah, and then the other thing you said was that they kept saying, like, if Zoe said something to someone, how did they handle it? How did they react? How did they react?
They said that about my boss, and I said, she wasn't too impressed that I told her to get a ladder. Oh, and they said, what's something that you'd done that you didn't have to do in a job?
That's right.
Yeah, and said my boss was whippersnippering and I went out and done it for her. That's all I could think of. I was like... I shat myself. I was like, fuck her.
But yeah, that's it. You just don't know what they're going to throw at you.
Oh, and yeah, even that. The next person they might ask different questions. Depending on how the person answers, they'll ask something else.
Yeah.
And now they're going to check references and that's the next step.
So she promptly rang her referees
and said,
expect a call.
Yeah, they're referees.
Me and I don't reckon they'll ring us because she knows me and they know we're going to go. Yeah, she's freaking awesome. Hire her.
Yeah.
How do you know her? You know how I know her. Yeah, that's all right. I'm not going to. This isn't for the podcast. This is for my notes for the book more than anything.
No, I was going to say I'd be very surprised if you didn't get on because I'm embarrassed, really.
Oh, you know.
But you've still got to, like when I got on, I didn't just get on because of Barry. You've still got to go in and go through the process.
Yeah, got past medical.
Past medical. Yeah, we talked about that. Just going to go on a bit of a quick fitness regime.
If you get on the short list, you got to go do your medical.
Start running.
Yeah.
Touch your toes. Squats.
Yeah, we'll start stretching because that's one of them.
know,
The reach. How come I can? Look at me go. I can touch my toe. But you can do it. You're young and fit. It's just don't have any more pizzas between now and then.
I'm making spaghetti bowls for dinner tonight.
Oh, that'd be nice. Okay, I'll turn this off. Is there anything else? Make sure your phone's charged.
Yeah.
If you're doing a phone interview.
And have a beer beforehand.
Take the dog somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because imagine if on top of that the dog started barking. That would have been an issue. Yeah. Good job. And then go and celebrate up the pub.
Yeah. Go to the pub with your mum.
Righto. Hello and welcome back. Well, what did you think? She's very entertaining, my daughter, but I hope that you got a lot out of it as well, which is why I do what I do. I'm passionate to help you. So the funny thing when I listen back to this is the one thing she didn't know was that I got in trouble for not telling her about was PPE, personal protective equipment. Of course, this was pre-COVID, and during and after COVID, the whole planet now knows what PPE is, right? Oh, my God, it's so funny when I was listening to that and she's like, I had to think on the spot, and then they told her what it was and she knew, yes, it's safety stuff, so it's your hard hat and gloves and glasses. like the doctors had to wear all their PPE, and was there enough? And you couldn't get in the hospital if you didn't have it on, and you wear your mask. So that was a bit funny for me. I wonder if you know what PPE is. I'm sure you do. And what about the questions that were thrown at her? Are they the sort of things that you would expect you would have to answer? A lot of them are safety related, right? And so it's a good tip to start thinking now about how you have spoken up about hazard in your current workplace. What have you done to change things, because they want to know if you're going to speak up, or if you can even notice hazards. And it was interesting, though, towards the end there, that a lot of it was about what did the other people think about your actions and how did you deal with that. So I think a lot of that comes down to crew culture, and if they think you might fit in. Also, can you handle how people think shit about you? Which clearly I can't. All right, I hope that has given you an insight into what you might expect for a mining interview. And yes, it was a while ago, a few years ago now, but not much changes really. They still want to know where you've worked. So that was a good tip about have your resume out in front of you. And if you have any questions at the end, have some questions, because it shows that you're being proactive. And also do a bit of research about the place where you are applying for, like the mining company. Don't go overboard about it like a weirdo. Although that might be what they want, just do you. And if they want you, you'll get the job, So there's some things to look out for. And also, make sure your phone's charged. Get rid of the dogs in the nicest possible way. Not just dogs, human dogs, kids. Distractions of any sort. So get yourself ready. My daughter, she suggested have a beer first. We certainly did go and have one after. I know that. And I'm sure the elephant in the room, the burning question is, did she get the job? No. Long story, she didn't even get on the shortlist and go for an interview or a follow-up or a medical or anything. And at the time, it absolutely broke her heart. I must say it kind of broke mine, because she was starting life again after some shit bits, and she was trying to find some good bits, and this did not help. However, when you look back at what the universe does to you, if she'd have gone out there, she wouldn't have met her current partner and be living the life she is right now, which has affected all of our lives in a certain way, because she wouldn't have been on my crew. So many different levels of change that didn't happen, and change that did happen because she didn't get the job, if that makes sense, from my woo-woo brain to yours. So I'm so proud of her now and what she's doing. She's a kick-ass woman and I love her to bits. And thank you, Zoe, and I'm sure you will approve of this. Oh, P.S., just in case you haven't seen it, because she told me we were at the Queensland Mining Expo here in Mackay just a few days ago. Right now it's July 2024, the end of July, and we went and had a walk around at the Mining Expo, and we were having a laugh about when we went, must be 4 or 6 years ago, because they have it every 2 years, but I think it kind of changed when COVID was around. They didn't have it or something. And I videoed her and did an interview on the simulator. It was a BMA simulator, and I interviewed the lady, a truck simulator, a stimulator, as we call them. And I'll leave a link to that episode of the interviews from the Queensland Mining Expo way back when. Gosh, that was early days. madmumzie.com/beers96 for that. And I'll also put on there the video of her in the stimulator, and it's hilarious because she won't spoiler alert, you go watch it, but she had a bit of a crash, not a proper crash, but a bit of a whoopsie. Didn't realise it was left-hand drive, so it goes out a long way to the right, and the lady running the simulator threw a fire at her and brake failure and all of that. And it was just a taste. It wasn't like if you were doing that on a mine site for an interview or something or for training, it would be a lot more involved. But just for at the expo, it was a bit of a taste. So I'll leave that in there. But we were having a laugh about it as we were walking around. Didn't see one there this year, but I said, I think that's had, I know, definitely over 10,000 views. And she said, yes, and I never gave you permission for that. I do believe that she did. I've got it in writing somewhere in the archives. I best start digging. Oh, I love you, Zoe. Okay, until next time, stay safe, be real, be special, and have fun. Keep believing you can get that job in the mines if you haven't already got one, if you've just started, especially if you've just got to start. I'm here for you. Check out mining.teachable.com. I'll see you next time. Love you. See you. Bye. Cheers. Psst. Make sure you wear your PPE.